about ideas that matter. I'm glad you've made the connection and are with us today. I'm Lori Fitz, your host, and the goal of our show is to explore a wide range of topics that challenge us to see ourselves, our community, and the world around us in ways that get us thinking, get us talking, maybe even singing, as we explore ways that we can maybe challenge to do just a bit more because we've made that connection. Our topic today is joyful, determined, and hardworking, and how those are all connected in a very special way. Hosting with me today is Rick Bernardo.
That's me, Ricky Ricardo Bernardo. Yes. No, I don't. No, that's not my middle name. I'll remember that later. Only when I'm in trouble do they use my middle name.
That's
my
right.
parents, yeah.
That's right. So you have brought a guest today.
I did.
Share with us about Melody.
Melody Mendis is a combination of things that we love to have polymaths on the show, a fancy word for somebody who excels in so many dimensions of life and profession. She's a tribute artist, and a vocalist, a voice instructor, a teacher, and I don't know how recently could you label yourself as an athlete, but say good morning to us, Melody.
Speaking of connections, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
I love that intro. I'm like, wow. Like, omniversal. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Listen to space.
Yeah. You excel in world knowledge and history and everything. You know.
You call me a polymath, but I'm not good at math. So
No,
I'm just kidding. It has nothing to do with math.
It's a different kind of math. Exactly. No, I know it's a
But it's
confusing term.
multiple sort of math.
That's
multiple
right.
math.
That's right.
And you do art and athleticism.
Right. So the athlete. I've always been an athlete. I was a figure skater growing up, and that word resonates with me in my music. Because
And as a performer,
you're
always using your body pretty much.
Absolutely. And breathing, but also like athletics of my soul and connection with my audience, the energy. I feel like it all works together in a symbiotic.
It's all your
relationship.
tool. Yeah.
It's all the toolkit.
When we were talking last night, you said the three things that define you is joyful, determined, and hardworking. Tell me more about that.
Right. Well, I love digging into the hard. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just this, like, I feel like we all have a superpower, and mine is determination, and it might kill me one day.
She laughs.
That's the joy part, like laughing through the madness, right? But I would also say funny, because humor for me is a great vehicle of connecting with my students, my audience, and working through the hard. Just a, short story. I'm originally from Detroit, and so there were around Halloween, a lot of haunted houses, actors and stuff.
Absolutely.
And, and I was so terrified as a little girl going through these things. But then I decided to start laughing. It was so crazy. And, I would laugh.
That's a good decision.
It was a good decision. Right. But this was back, in the 80s or something, when the actors could touch you? Like, it's a
That's
whole...
creepy.
That's creepy. Yeah,
That is of itself is creepy.
There are more scary elements probably happening more than, like...
Yeah, there's touching and there's touching.
In any case, you used your superpower of humor.
Of humor. And
to allow you to go into scary places.
Right. And so my friends, at the time, they were like, why are you laughing? I would be laughing hysterically. And then, back to the athleticism, doing... I'm a new triathlete, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
And so I found some humor, but it was the joy. So as I was on my bike going through, I'm going to say this wrong,
and
Corrigan.
just for a second, explain what a triathlon, what you did recently, was a combination of biking.
Well, in the order, it's swim, bike, run.
There you go.
Yeah.
So where did you swim? Where did you swim?
Weaver Lake in Maple Grove.
Cool.
So it was nice. I was in town.
There's enough water in there. Yeah.
It was really choppy, windy day. My swim was abysmal, which gave me fire to really do very well in my bike and my run. So it's nice. If you don't have a really good sport, you have the other two or another one to make up for it.
So the next one then was the bike.
Right. Yeah. Which I flew through that.
That was in Maple Grove.
Right. Hanover, Corcoran, part of Rogers. Am I saying that right? I never know how to say Corcoran.
Yeah. Yep.
It's so funny. When I moved here, I was like, it's Nicolet. People are like, it's Nicolet. I'm like, but it's French. They're
I
like,
know.
it's
And,
Nicolet.
They
and
don't
then we
care.
have Wyzetta that everyone like goes, what?
I know.
That's Wayzata.
You're like, what?
No.
That's
We do our own thing. Well, congratulations on the
Thank you,
triathlon.
thank
I
you.
think you're using all of this. You're singing. You're a
Yeah.
performer. You're a teacher. You're an athlete, and you're pouring this into a book.
I am. And because the overarching theme of what gets me excited is helping people and helping them unlock parts of themselves to be their authentic person, the best version of themselves.
Their voice.
Their voice, yeah, which I know you know a lot about.
Yeah. Well,
which
the
is
heart.
exciting.
The voice is what you hear, but it also
Right.
comes from someplace deeper.
It's fascinating because when a student comes to me, they can just sing like a phrase, and I could almost. This sounds really strange, but I can almost like enter into their body. I can feel the tension. I could almost hear the thoughts they have. Like their voice tells me so much, and I have to be super careful because we're developing trust, and I can't overstep the relationship in terms of saying, "Hey, by the way, I'm hearing this, this, this." But I can always hear when there's been trauma.
Yeah.
A lot of stress.
When you hear that, my guess is that you're going to hear more of the throat voice.
Oh, yeah.
They're afraid to go into their deeper
Right.
chest and
Right.
deeper, because that's vulnerable.
And you just hit on the word I was going to say, vulnerable. It's even just the act of like opening up the throat to really
Yes.
increase your resonance.
Yes.
And some of those, I don't want to say those people, but people who've had trauma really struggle with that because it's I think it's just an early man thing to brace to brace your core, to
Yeah.
brace your chest, to brace your throat. Like if I don't know if you're fighting a dinosaur or
Yeah.
something, there's definitely
and
like
even deeper, you
Yeah.
get down to that diaphragm,
Right.
when you can explore that, I think
Right.
it opens up parts of your soul, even parts
Right.
of who you are.
Right.
Sometimes I get frustrated where I hear voices that are just up there. It's like the little girl voice,
Right.
and it's up here, and it's they're not ready to
Right.
open up their full self. I mean, I
Right.
love that your voice is very resonant. You're
Right.
very deep, very
Well, I had the opposite problem.
ah
I had to see an ENT because my speaking voice used to be down here
oh
because I was trying to assume authority. And I was also bullied as a kid.
So it was
in
your
school.
reaction.
It was my reaction.
Yeah.
So I created this, in the voice of my character, someone who was more commanding, but that ended up affecting my singing voice. So I had to see a speech pathologist. So yeah, in the opposite
Interesting.
Wow.
direction,
Interesting.
I was superimposing this other authority figure within me to like as protection.
And I think that ties into what you're going to be sharing with us through the show in terms of living with our gremlins.
Right. Yep. Those,
Now, and I grew up with parents in radio. They always told us as kids, nothing is more sensitive or powerful than the human voice. And I would see them making recordings, and they would work on their whole posture, their whole body, and they would say, you can even hear when somebody's smiling or not when they're talking. And I would start to listen. I go, I can hear mommy smiling. I can hear dad
yeah.
smile. I can hear that. And people don't realize it's all sort of under the radar, but we're born for the music of the human voice.
100%.
Right out of the womb. And I'm fascinated in that, in everything you're saying.
And you started singing professionally at 14,
Well,
but
I
before
started-
that,
Right. I started taking voice lessons. I say professionally was more in college, although I would take side jobs here and there. And then I would have church jobs, and I was doing the classical route because I thought I wanted to be an opera singer. And so, and that led me down a whole different rabbit hole. Anyway, there's a whole thing behind that. But, I thought that would make me happy, but ultimately that wasn't what made me happy and led me to having debilitating anxiety on stage. And that's kind of, a bit about this book and the Gremlins is my journey, some of my students' journey mixed with science and humor. I even have like nutrition, a little bit about neurodiversity and dealing with agents and producers. I mean, it kind of covers a whole panorama. I even have students who say, "Oh, I'm a guitarist. I don't sing." I'm like, "But you're in a singing lesson, so I think it's okay to say that. It's okay to say you're also a vocalist." Like, whoa. And so I'll experiment, and I know what's going to happen. I take their guitar away, and it's like they're just frozen, like they don't know what to do with their hands, So, and that again, that vulnerability of not hiding behind an instrument, like I know I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, that's so good.
But with the Barbara Streisand tribute, I mean, she's notorious. She's notorious for stage fright. I've watched so many of her videos and how she always holds her mic stand. And I think that's really kind of to help ground her energy and for her to feel, I don't want to speak for her.
Yeah.
But I definitely...
It's good to observe.
You can identify.
I identify.
Observing things.
Yeah, and she's very intentional in how she moves.
And to give the audience just a little glimpse here,
Sure.
when you said you're getting ahead of yourself, we were going to be talking, and we will still be talking about you as a tribute artist.
Right.
And the two ones that we'll be talking more with you today about have to do with Barbara Streisand and Lady Gaga.
Right.
And there is a whole beauty and work in the giving tribute to an artist and their style. As well as bringing yourself to that as well.
Yeah.
Well, it's fascinating because I think a tribute artist is really the ultimate super fan.
It is, absolutely.
Like you want to, if you need to know anything about, you ask a tribute artist anything about the person they're representing, and they know everything, they love them, right?
Yeah. Well, I want to mention before we go to break that you do have albums for sale that are both featuring those artists. You can get that on Spotify. And the book that we'll be talking more about, folks can email you and sign up for a pre-purchase. They just need to give their name, their email, and whether they want the ebook or the hard copy. And the email address that I have is Melody with a Y, Melody, last name Mendis, Mendis, @gmail.com. That's melodymendis@gmail.com. And with that, we'll go to break. And when we come back, we're going to be hearing a little bit of music from you as well. So stay tuned to listen to a tribute as well as hear the story in the book that Melody Mendis is working on. Good morning, and welcome back to Connections Radio Show. I'm your host, Lori Fitz, and we're a show that talks about ideas that matter. And today our topic is joyful, determined, and hardworking. And our guest is Melody Mendis. And you know Melody. You invited Melody.
I kind of know her now.
I'd love to know the backstory of that.
One of the reasons to have her here is to keep getting to know her. You and I met, and I had to count. I had to get a calculator out. Sleepwalkers by Carrie Margolis. From Margolis Method is her current work. She's a famous physical acting expert and teacher, and has produced multimedia stage productions all over the country. And Sleepwalkers was in, I think, 2002.
I was trying to figure out if it was 2002 or 2003.
I had to write it down because it's all a blur to me,
A million years ago.
But it was an incredible. It was got rave reviews, and I was in the chorus, which has just had parts during 2 or 3 of these. I think there were 7 acts in the whole thing, 7 stages to it. And you were a special vocalist that just zoomed in and out in different parts, and I just remember you doing this operatic stuff, and that's how I know you.
Yeah, it's it was wild, and in fact that show had its own kind of magic for me because I met a few lifelong friends because I was new from Detroit, and so I have like about 4 people who we made these really strong connections, and we're still really close.
Oh,
so that was
that's
fun.
awesome. Yeah.
I got to tell you, the process was crazy. So I went into the show thinking, oh, I'm going to be, one of the actors. I'm going to be in every scene. All of a sudden, it's like, well, Melody, can you sing this Hungarian piece? I'm like, what?
What?
Excuse me. But luckily,
Eh?
yeah, I had to learn Minnesotan. Eh?
or
Oofta.
Spanish,
Oofta.
K?
Okay. So I know, and luckily, I mean, fortunately, one of the cast members was from Hungary, and he taught me Hungarian in between
Fabulous.
rehearsals.
Oh, that's handy.
And
so
then
go for it. Go ahead.
yeah, and then Carrie was like, "Oh, and can you do this like vocal improv section?" I'm like, okay. And it was crazy because I'll tell you, for me, I mean, and this kind of dips back into my book and stuff. I had left music because I was so unhappy and frustrated, with classical music, just my journey. I wasn't living my authentic self. I didn't know
Oh.
what my voice was.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden I was like let off the chains that I mentally bound myself in, and I broke those chains.
Oh.
And this show had a magic because it brought me back to music. Like music found me again.
Welcome to Minnesota.
It's finally
It was
good to hear
wild.
that. How many
Right?
years later?
I
Jeez.
know. It's
Decades later.
Well, then
Good.
it was like, well, Melody, you have project ideas. You are a very creative person. Why don't you just do your own thing? And I got employed at School of Rock for several years, teaching these wonderful kids
Sure.
and having them realize their own dreams. And some are touring the world right now.
You must be proud.
I'm so very proud.
Oh, well, that's
I'm so very proud. And then through that, I found my own band members for my band Melody and the Dramatics, and we performed at Dakota, did a lot of different projects. But a lot of that stemmed from Sleepwalkers. Like, who knew?
So many
love
people woke up from sleepwalkers.
I stopped sleepwalking.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, we only have a couple more minutes in
Okay.
this segment, but I want to make sure that we
Oh.
listen to Barbara, your tribute to Barbara
These
Streisand.
are sample segments from your video.
Oh my gosh, I
this
think
is,
she's here. Did
Barbara.
She come in? Is Barbara Streisand in the room?
Yes,
Yeah.
she is.
Should we count down to that?
There we
Okay,
go.
here goes.
Hey, 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 hey. And you don't bring me flowers anymore.
Well, you can cry me a river, cry me a river. I cried a river over you. And everywhere, every day, I need less of myself. I need more bewitched, bothered and bewildered. And I'm the greatest star. I am by far, but no one knows it. The more I live, the more I learn. The more I learn, the more I realize. The less I know, each step I take.
I loved watching you sing
It was hard not to.
to your music.
Did you know some of those songs? No.
And also, what was lovely is that I shut my eyes for a moment. It's like I would not be able to tell the difference. You, the honoring. I love the idea of this being a tribute. The honoring that you do for Barbara and the notes that you reach.
And for people of different generations, Barbara Streisand.
Reached a lot of them.
Yeah,
Even through movies.
Yeah.
The younger generation's like, oh, she's a singer?
yeah.
I thought she was just in Meet the Fockers as the mom.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
good point. Yeah, it's
But
okay. It's about
just a-
education here.
But a beautiful job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
And-
go ahead.
And we'll notice some of those sound clips that we heard all put together.
Right.
There's a video of that on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah, and some of them were live.
Yes.
So I maybe I don't know if half of them or what, but
No
but-
lip syncing.
No, yeah. So anyway, so you could hear some of the room ambience in some of the recordings.
I love that. I love the room.
And so if people want to, there's an album that you did, correct?
Not of my tribute because of licensing
Oh,
yeah.
sure.
concern.
Good
Sure,
point.
Sure.
But, I mean, I would love to get vetted by the original Barbara Streisand and say, yes, Melody, you can make, but I'm pretty sure that won't happen.
Be the new me, please.
In our next segment, we'll be talking a little bit more about some of that stage fright
Sure.
that you talked about.
Yes.
And how to address that as a performer, but also just how to address it in our everyday life, because we all have those gremlins, and how do we live with them in a way that's productive. If people want to buy her book, Melody's book, before it comes out, you can do a pre-purchase. The pre-purchase allows you to choose whether you want to have it as a digital or a hard copy. And what we are recommending is that you go ahead and use your email. And Melody, I'm going to let you share the email, and you give your name, your email, and whether you wanted an ebook or a hard copy.
Yeah, Melody Mendis, Melody MEN as in Nancy, DIS as in Sam, at gmail.com. Let me know if you'd like an ebook or a physical copy. And it's called The Anxious Musician, Making Friends with Your Anxiety Gremlin.
All right.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and it's not just for musicians, but it's people who even have trouble just addressing staff meetings.
It's a lot of life. Yeah.
Yeah, and just
you know.
using music as a metaphor, I think,
As
is
a vehicle
is
and
something.
metaphor.
Yeah, it makes good sense. And in our next segment, we'll hear a little bit from Lady Gaga, I understand, and your tribute to her.
We have
That would
another
be-
set of samples of that. Melody
That would be so nice.
Mendismusic.com is the website. We'll come back.
Thanks so much. Join us. Stay with us. We'll be back in just after a few wonderful commercials that support this wonderful AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. Good morning, and welcome back to Connections Radio Show, where we talk about ideas that matter. I'm Lori Fitz, your host, and our topic today is joyful, determined, and hardworking, and the connections between all of those. And we're exploring this with our guest, Melody Mendez, with my co-host, Rick Bernardo.
That's me, Rick Bernardo and Melody Mendis. We were talking last segment about how we met each other at Sleepwalkers, a production in the early 2000s, and it led to all kinds of other things for you and me both, but mainly we were digging into how that resonated in other parts of your life.
Which is interesting because your book brings a lot of those other parts of your life together.
Yes.
And in your book, you are exploring gremlins that we live with.
Right.
And part of that you had mentioned early on was out of an anxiety
Right.
that you had in doing performing. Tell me a little bit more about that, and tell me about your gremlins.
Yeah. So I think I was born a little bit anxious. I think that was just a thing.
It's
the
a-
child is fretting.
It can be
just
traumatic
born,
being born.
And I
Yeah.
swear the child is fretting already.
I know.
You know something we don't.
I know. I don't want to be here. Wah! Okay, no, I don't know. Yeah, and so, but when in music, it happened. I had my first panic attack on stage in undergrad, and I was in a choir concert. Like, I wasn't even a featured vocalist. And suddenly I got the sweaty palms, the heart palpitations, that need to fight or flight. And I'm trying.
adrenaline going.
The adrenaline. My amygdala was going bonkers. My vagus nerve, like, I don't know. Like,
And you become another person at that point.
I know. And I just felt like I was like leaving my body. I didn't even know what was going on. I don't know. I didn't understand that it was a panic attack at the time. So it just felt like I was going to die. And then after that, I kept struggling with wanting to be on stage. And it was so hard because I love being on stage. And something I love so much was hurting me so badly. And that was really painful.
Talk about love-hate.
That anxiety, and I think anxiety has a tension to it. And so what you love and what you're scared of becomes like a knot that you have to work through.
Yep.
And part of it, we talked about in the last segment, doing that show helped loosen a little bit of that knot and that anxiety.
And also tribute, because I talk about in my book kind of your alter ego.
Oh,
a lot
sure.
of professionals, of course, have alter egos, and tribute was a really great way of me, where it's still me, but it's also my brain thinks it's not me.
Well, you're acting.
I'm acting.
You were acting at the highest level.
Right, and I could, become other people.
Sure.
And so that was also a form of therapy, but I'm a natural voice mimic. And so it all worked together. Thank God.
So tell me about the gremlin part.
Yeah, the gremlins, it's all the different anxieties, but there's like self-sabotage, low self-esteem, procrastination. Are these resonating with you, Rick? He's like,
She looks at me.
yeah, you're right. I didn't look at Lori.
That's okay. That's okay. My gremlins and I are at peace. We're good.
No matter whomever you look at, it's going to work.
Right.
Right.
You know, perfectionism, task paralysis. There's 9 of them, so thanks for bearing with me.
No.
Fear of failure, limiting thoughts and culture, fear of the unknown, and my favorite that I embody to the T, imposter syndrome. Yeah, so these are, they're designed
And a
to
lot
help
of
us.
women do. I think it is part of us having more ability to be equal.
Right.
My mom got her first checking account in the 70s because before that, a husband, it was 73,
Right.
a husband had to give permission. So allowing ourselves to be leaders, allowing ourselves to have a voice as an individual, that's big. And I think we get afraid.
And in some ways still kind of new if you
Yes,
think about it.
that's exactly it. I mean, we are in sort of the realm of the last how many centuries, and then we look at the last number thousands of years.
Yeah.
I mean, we're coming out and going, yeah, I can lead.
Yeah.
And
It's like a
that's-
good news,
I
bad
can
news.
sing. I can be my own person.
And hopefully not be labeled,
Right.
because you're strong, not being a
Yeah.
bee,
Yeah.
all these stereotypes.
Yeah. So, you have to be both and or not, or you just find your voice and allow your voice to be who you are. And I think that's part of what I hear in the book
Yes.
that you're creating.
And, because I like the humor and I'd like to be approachable and form that connection, it starts off kind of like a dating profile.
Sure.
like each
Oh, yeah.
person, each person that's like their stats,
Yeah.
and then there's the therapist assessment.
Yeah.
And then it goes into even their occupation and how these gremlins can negatively impact in different occupations. So it has this more global feeling
Sure.
that music is a vehicle, but again, it resonates in a lot of different areas.
Sure, and part of that with the gremlins, I think sometimes even in the corporate world, we go, okay, I can't be my full self. There's this whole encouragement, bring your whole self to work. I'm like, no, I curate what I bring to work.
Right.
But how much we curate could be impacted by a
Right.
gremlin.
Absolutely. Even that fear of failure.
Yep.
It's just I say that there's 9 gremlins, but to me it feels like one big super gremlin.
Sure.
Because they all share so many of the same characteristics.
Sure, it could be. There is one gremlin, but each gremlin's different based on the percentage of all of those different characteristics.
It's like a
So you're
beautiful
a gremlin.
gem. I'm being kind of my gremlin. So by facets of the gem of the same,
right.
but each facet has its
You know, and
own
the
sparkle.
gremlin may have, retracted and not worried about the imposter syndrome. But at one point, it was like the dominant force of the
Yeah.
gremlin.
Sure.
Good point.
And
Yeah.
these voices.
Yeah,
You
but
know.
they're always there.
They're always there.
It's just different, and being able to, this gremlin has sort of taken over today.
Right.
I had-
My goal is just I just because of what I've gone through and the hard I had to deal with, and I just feel so much stronger, and I want to give support and wisdom and hopefully help people through their own blocks, because I don't know. It's not that I'm an authority, and I do have a lot of knowledge on the subject. It's just
But
I
you want to
genuinely
make a connection.
I want to make a connection, and
because you've been there. And you have
Sharing is
that
good.
empathy.
Sharing is good.
Yeah, and I feel that intense need. It's like I feel like it's a soul mission.
Well, some people go on a trip across the country and they talk about their trip across
Oh,
the
yeah.
country.
Yeah.
You're sharing your trip in terms of your journey with music, your journey with discovery, your journey with these gremlins that
Yeah.
you were able to name. I mean,
Yeah, it's
there's
all
not
valid.
much difference in my mind
Right.
between being able to take a panoramic trip or to
Right.
take an inward trip. And
Yeah.
your inward trip is something that you're sharing that may give us like benchmarks to look at.
Yeah.
We needed Sacagawea to go through and
Right.
give us the
That's right.
trail
That's
to
right.
get us to the places that we need
Right,
to go to.
right.
get.
They were lost, man. And speaking of lost, I ran out of fingers counting the gremlins you were mentioning. And the reason I went into stand-up comedy is when somebody mentioned that to me once, it sparked all the gremlins. And I realized if there was one thing I need to try to get over something. I didn't know what it was at the point. It would be stand-up comedy. So it was.
That's really vulnerable.
And brave.
Well,
Brave,
you have
hugely
to you
brave.
have to fail all the time to find out what's left is actually funny. That's the only way to do it.
And you
Anyway.
have to change the narrative. I mean, just like in fitness, failure is success.
Yeah.
If I'm lifting heavy weights and I go to failure, I have succeeded.
I developed a saver line that there would be silence, and I'd be like, "Thank you for the moment of silence." It's appropriate when anything dies.
Enjoy the silence. The Depeche Mode. Going way back.
I want to switch gears just a little bit to
Yeah.
Lady Gaga.
Yes.
Tribute.
And
Oof.
another tribute.
Yes.
But I think she's someone that, without being explicit, has seemed anxious at times.
Absolutely.
She is vulnerable, but she also has done some very bold things.
Yeah.
I mean, I see her in some of her outfits and go, "Oh, you go, girl."
Yeah.
That's like amazing. But I don't think it comes from just a sense of pure power. I think she's living with her gremlins as well.
I agree. And again, I can't speak for her, and I I have to be really careful, but I just feel like she
But you are
probably
her
has-
biggest fan, right?
I am her biggest fan, but I feel like she definitely has imposter syndrome,
Mhm.
you know, which is pretty common.
Yeah.
But I don't, you know, I love her so much. You know, her bravery, her ability, again, to dig into the hard.
Yes.
And a lot of what she does and says really resonates with me personally.
Yeah.
So, and because vocally, there is a similarity with her and Barbara.
Yes.
It was very easy to move into her. And because I can also be really bold to do her choreography, it was fun. Like the I do her dance moves. I
Oh,
have
good for you.
dancers. I have full stage production. I also play piano and sing as Gaga in those intimate cabaret moments. Like both Barbara and Gaga are very cabaret oriented, and they tell their stories. And that is like my soul right there.
And that's what you're doing with your book.
Yes.
As well. So let's hear some Lady Gaga.
Okay.
Don't mind yourself and regret. Just love yourself and you're set. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way. Ooh, there ain't no other way, baby. I was born this way, baby. I was born this way. Oh, 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 oh. I'll get him hard, show him what I got. Can't read my, no, he can read my poker face. Mon cœur qui bat. Would anyone like some French toast? I'm off the deep end, watches and diving. I'll never meet the ground. Crash to the surface where they can't hurt us. We're far from the shallow now. I want your ugly, I want your disease. I want your everything as long as it's free. I want your love. Love, love, love. I want your love.
I love Lady Gaga, but I do love the Shallow song.
Yes.
Far from the Shallow,
Mm-hmm.
and that always has resonated with me. It's such a lovely song, and you do a beautiful tribute.
One of my favorite moments was doing that in Pride.
Oh,
I was
nice.
on stage. It was so cool. Oh my gosh, it just felt like a really powerful moment.
It is.
When was that?
This
It
last.
It was pre-COVID.
Okay.
Okay.
With that, I want to make sure that folks know how to get your book. So, Rick, tell us the best way to get your book that's coming out
The first of the year.
first of the
Big-
year.
You know, new
Yeah.
year, new me.
There you
let's,
go.
Yeah.
Let's make friends with our gremlins.
It's a good goal. Yeah. What Melody told us, I'm just going to go by what she told us. Email her, Melody Mendis. Melody, just the way it sounds with a D-Y at the end. Mendis, M-E-N-D-I-S. Don't diss her, though. Melody Mendis at gmail.com. And she's looking for your email, your name, and whether you want the ebook or hard copy.
I also want to say that I am also writing a compendium workbook
Yeah.
that will have the techniques as well. They could work separately or together. Just putting it out there.
So
And-
workbook
and
as well.
workshops.
And
You're
workshops,
You're
yep.
creating workshops that
Oh, yeah.
that will be introducing both the book and the workshop and the workbook. and
Getting
get
people on their feet.
It'll all work together. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So stay with us. We have one more wonderful segment to talk more about the book and about being an athlete and being a musician and celebrating joy and being determined and hardworking. We'll be right back. Connections Radio Show, where we have been having such an enjoyable time exploring what it means to be joyful, determined, hardworking, and we're exploring the various facets that Melody Mendis finds herself in as a vocalist, as a teacher, as an athlete, and all of that being kind of funneled into the book that she's writing. And the name of that book that you, at least the working title that
Working
you have.
title.
Yeah, The Anxious Musician, Making Friends with Your Anxiety Gremlin. Because, you live alongside it. It's not like you want to get rid of your anxiety, or I think that makes me more anxious trying to squelch it.
In my experience, if you
terrifying.
start having an argument with it, it gets louder. It's like you just gotta work with it.
I have to tell you, one of my when I started doing Barbra Streisand was actually at the Fringe Festival. It was my first time doing Fringe, and it's a lottery when they pick their performers, right? So I wasn't picked, but it was so weird. I wasn't picked, but I knew that I was supposed to be doing it. And it was the weirdest thing. Like, I knew it. And so 2 weeks before opening, I got the email, hey, are you available to do Fringe? Mind you, I had no show. I didn't have anything.
Does Fringe ever? No.
I'm like, it is the Fringe.
Yeah, right.
If we had more time, we could enter into your nightmare, but at a different segment. That's funny. Anyway, and so so of course I paid the money because digging into the heart is kind of joyful for me. And I was like, I can do this. I can create a show in like less than 2 weeks and rehearse it, I guess. Let's do this. And so I consulted my director and friend, Keith Lunak. So he's been doing the writing for the Barbra show.
Oh, nice.
Doing the script work. And then I act out the script, but then I do improv as well. And so, speaking of the anxiety thing, it's a one-woman show. I've never done Fringe. It was a brand new show. I mean, you want to talk about terrifying.
And hard.
Yeah, I was in a black box, completely vulnerable. And I was off stage, like, shaking like a leaf. I'm like, why do I do this to myself? Why do I do this to myself?
But when you get on stage and the light comes on.
So what I did, and this is a part of my therapy in my book, is I was actually backstage drawing my gremlin. I physically drew the gremlin that was the loudest. And I drew, and I said, you know what? Thank you for protecting me.
Good.
But I don't need you right now. So you can just go shop. Go to Europe and go shop. Go to Paris. Find me some really great outfits.
Take a break.
Take a break. But you know what? I'll see you after. So definitely come back.
Yeah.
But I just don't need you right now.
That's a good conversation.
And I'm telling you, it worked because I got on stage, and it's so funny. My opening music is from, I don't know if you've Duck Sauce. I don't know if you've ever heard of the song do 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 Barbra Streisand.
Yes.
Do 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 do. And I, again, like a game show, going out as Barbara. And then I go into this whole thing, and that was just a wilderness. Yeah, it was really fun, but yeah, that was pretty
Sounds
terrifying.
wild, man.
Wild, man. But then here's the weird thing about Fringe. Okay, so it's community, and it's great, and people are trying out ideas, but you get reviews.
Yeah.
That's real. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, okay, I don't know. First of all, I don't have really thick skin, and this is a brand new show. I'm putting myself out there in this really vulnerable way. Can I handle reviews? But then I started to get really, really good reviews.
Nice.
And people were going to my show, and I was like, OMG, like, this is really, really cool. And that's what launched the idea to actually make her real and eventually get into the casinos and do the private parties.
Oh, good move.
But it was Fringe. And,
Oh, jeez.
with Gaga, I just created a huge production and just went out there. There was no like trying things out. Like it was like,
And
that
here
old-
she is.
and here she is. Like,
It's that old story about commitment, how people would get over the fence to the stadium if they wanted to sneak in. They'd throw their hat over,
okay.
and then they had to figure out a way to, because they couldn't come home without the hat.
Gotcha.
And anyway, but there's commitment.
For
Is
me,
all
it would
I'm
be
saying.
car keys.
Yeah, car
I only
keys.
have one set for my car,
Oh yeah.
and I name her Sylvia. I name all my inanimate objects. They have personality. It's kind of
Well,
funny.
of
So
course.
Sylvia only has one set, so I would definitely have to get those keys.
Oh.
My
That would be the
computer
thing.
is precious.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, no, actually, it's the precious from the ring
Precious.
cycle.
My precious. Oh my gosh.
She has her own life that we
Whoa.
sort of try and like come together on. Anyway, with all of that said, I'd love to be able to have the audience know about the various things that and ways that they can connect with you. If they are singers and they'd like to have some input and support, you do coach. You also teach workshops.
Right. Well, I that will be coming up. I teach at McPhail Mondays at Chanhassen, Tuesdays at the downtown McPhail location, and then my home studio is online, and I've had incredible success. I'm, just to be completely transparent, I'm a caregiver for my mom, and I moved my aunt from California to help me. So I used to have students come to the house, but I feel like my home, is a little bit different now, and that's
Zoom
okay.
is our friend.
Yeah, and so
Or StreamYard. Or
yeah, I love StreamYard. That's
Yeah.
ugh. Anyway, just email me melodymendis@gmail.com and see what I can do.
And do you also help out with folks that are getting ready for a triathlon or any athletic coaching support?
I'm the kind of personality, I dabble and I think I'm an expert, but maybe I should just wait on that. But this is the thing. When I went in, luckily I have a wonderful fitness coach by the name of Dan Polta out of, can I even say company
Sure,
names? LA Fitness. He's
Thank-
great.
sure.
He's
Yeah,
a
thanks, Dan.
triathlete. Thanks,
Yeah.
Dan. I told Dan yesterday, I wouldn't have been successful without him because
Yeah.
he helps me with the whole entire back end.
Wow.
Down to the lifting weights because I have to run, down to do these muscles because you have to swim.
And you learned a few things from your gremlins as well.
My gremlins, yes. Again, my race will go on to a different segment. I just felt pure joy because my gremlins were singing. I decided we're all
nice.
coming together.
Singing is a good way to get
Singing.
them
And was
preoccupied.
this in
Yeah.
conjunction with your weight loss?
Yes, because I had lost a few pounds on my own. I was my highest 195, and I'm 5'4", 5'5", so that's quite significant on my frame. And then at the 181 mark, I moved to Code Red because I saw friends with extreme weight loss. I'm like, what are you guys doing? And they weren't, I appreciated it because they weren't shoving it down my throat. They weren't even talking about it. I was just noticing pictures and did that program where I have coaches, even in maintenance. And I know what I'm doing now, but I think I'll always have a coach because it's just with life's up and downs. It's, it's more dangerous to move up in weight and then drop back down. If you're going to
as
be
we get
overweight,
older, especially chronic illness can be
Exactly.
very tied to that.
And both
Well, go ahead.
melodymendismusic.com. Go there. That's
Well,
all I wanted
it
to
doesn't
say.
have to do with weight loss, but it's a great website for music.
It's just
wanna
a
be
segue.
clear. And we're segueing because we're coming to the end of the show, which is great. And will you give Melody's email?
melodymendis@gmail.com. Melody and Mendis, Mendis.
And that's for the book. It's for singing lessons. It's for connecting.
And we'll talk more with
Mel.
you. So
Oh,
thanks for
yeah.
being here so much.
Thank you for having me.
No, it was a pleasure to go on a journey with you today and to hear how all of these things are coming together and
Thank
being
you.
synthesized in
Me
your book.
too. The
Yeah.
joy is also mine.
Oh, great. And join us next week on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota with Connections Radio Show.